Every time someone says taking a GLP-1 is cheating, I can't help but to think, cheating at what exactly? Cheating at finally getting your health under control? Cheating at breaking a cycle that had you stuck for years? People throw that word around without understanding what this process really demands on every level. So let's talk about it. Because taking a GLP-1 isn't cheating, it's choosing change. And that choice takes courage. People love to call it the easy way. And that proves how little people really understand this process. I remember when I first started, even I had that little voice that said, "Are you taking the easy way out?" But the truth was, I was exhausted from doing it in ways that never actually worked for me, not sustainably anyway. There's nothing easy about changing how you think, how you eat, or how you cope. There's nothing easy about sitting with emotions you used to drown in food. And there's definitely nothing easy about facing yourself honestly for the first time in a long time. This medication doesn't do the work for you. It gives you space to do the work differently. When the food noise finally quiets down, you have room to make better choices, to stop reacting and start being intentional. That's not lazy. That's you finally working smarter, not harder. People often think effort has to look hard. Hours in the gym, tiny meals, nonstop discipline. But the hardest part of this process isn't what they see. It's the mental reset happening in the background. It's teaching yourself to trust hunger cues again. It's showing up when your old patterns try to sneak back in. And if someone thinks that's the easy way, they've clearly never had to rebuild themselves from the inside out. Here's what I wish more people understood. GLP-1s aren't shortcuts. They're stabilizers. Imagine trying to build a house during a storm. That used to be your body. Constant cravings, exhaustion, stress. The medication doesn't build the house for you. It just gives you calm weather long enough to finally lay the foundation right. You're still the one meal planning, walking, journaling, and checking in with yourself. You're still dealing with cravings, emotions, and habits that take time to unlearn. But now, your effort actually works because your body isn't fighting you every step of the way. And that's the part people miss. They assume adding medication means taking the easy route. But willpower was never meant to carry everything. What builds real change is consistency and self trust. And a GLP-1 just helps make those things possible. Taking this medication doesn't mean you gave up. It means you stopped making it harder than it had to be. And there's nothing weak about that. We grew up in a culture that tells us to tough it out, that needing help means you failed somehow. But doing everything alone, that isn't strength. It's survival mode. Needing help is human, and accepting health, that's a form of growth. You can be grateful for your medication and proud of your effort. Those two things can live side by side. Every injection, every adjustment, every journal entry, it all says the same thing. I'm participating in my own change. And that's what most people miss. They see the shot, but not the work that happens between doses. They notice the medication, but not how much growth it takes to actually change your patterns. The truth is, this journey isn't about medication versus willpower. It's about finally dropping the shame around doing what works. Because this isn't about taking the right path. It's about building a path that you can walk on for life. And honestly, that kind of change takes way more courage than judgment ever could. One of the best parts of this process is realizing you don't have to defend it. You don't owe a detailed explanation to anyone who doesn't get it. And you don't have to prove that your success is real. You're living it, and that's proof enough. Let your actions speak louder than their opinions, and let your consistency outlast their curiosity. Because the people who understand this journey, they'll see it in your peace. And the ones who don't, they're not walking in your shoes anyway. So let them talk. You're too busy showing up for your life. And that's something I wish more of us said out loud. People throw the word cheating around like this is some sort of contest. But if it were, most of us have been playing on hard mode for years. You've faced hormone imbalances, cravings, emotional eating, and the mental load of feeling like it's all your fault. You've carried shame that never belonged to you. And yet, here you are, choosing to change instead of giving up. That's not cheating. That's choosing to finally give yourself a real chance. You didn't just commit to losing weight, you committed to healing. You committed to breaking the all or nothing cycle that kept you stuck. You didn't skip the struggle, you just stopped struggling alone. And that's something to be proud of. Here's what many people get wrong. They think success on a GLP-1 is about the number on the scale, but it's so much more than that. It's the moment you realize you're not at war with food anymore. It's eating when you're actually hungry, not every time you feel stressed or tired. It's looking in the mirror and realizing you're starting to trust yourself again. It's realizing that what lasts matters more than what's fast. You didn't choose the easy way, you chose the aligned way. And that's why it feels different this time, because it's not just weight coming off, it's layers of guilt and shame too. So the next time someone calls it cheating, let them, because what they're really doing is telling on themselves. They're still stuck believing that suffering equals success. You've learned better. You know that doing what's right for you, it isn't a shortcut. It's wisdom. Taking a GLP-1 doesn't erase your effort. It amplifies it. And it gives you the quiet you needed to finally hear yourself again. And once you do, you realize this journey isn't about proving anything. It's about peace, health, and trust. Things that don't show up on a before and after photo, and they certainly don't show up on the scale. You're not cheating, you're changing. And that change is something to be proud of. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button. It lets me know these conversations matter to you. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the next conversation. And as always, remember, we can share our journeys, but we should never compare them. Bye.